Tonight on CTV News, Prince Harry touches down in Christchurch, Central City car parking is back in the spotlight, and the latest on the Christchurch rebuild.
Broadcasting across Canterbury, from the CTV studio, this is First at 5.
Kia ora, good evening. Well, while the contentious convention centre and the much-needed Metro sports complex in the CBD have been delayed, new development plans are afoot elsewhere in the city. All this amid aid agencies rolling out yet more recovery funds for those still affected by the earthquakes. A lot is going on, and with me now is Dion Swiggs from Rebuild Christchurch to give us an update on what is happening. Dion, thank you so much for coming onto the program today. Good. Really appreciate it. Let's just start off with the insurance companies. Now, they've paid more than $15 billion. That's right, $1 billion. Do you want to just talk about what's happening there? Yeah,
so every month the insurance companies put out their figures, and this month I think there's been a milestone. There's $15 billion worth of insurance payouts by the private insurers. On top of that, there's also about $8.3 billion from EQC. So around $23 billion has gone into the residential market in Christchurch for the recovery. This is actually sort of a good stepping stone to sort of getting these settlements for properties finalised and whatnot. So now the insurance companies are looking at a lot of cash settlements for properties, so you'll start seeing that number jumping quite a lot, and a lot of the last straggling ones will be starting to sort of come through the different different programs, whether it's repairs or rebuilds or whether it's just a cash out and they sell as is, whereas. But I mean, this is all good progress. So there's a lot going on in the residential recovery now. If you drive around the streets, there's every street there's some houses being put up, and there needs to be some certainty. So I think it's starting to get there, starting to see some of that certainty around the residential recovery.
So we'll see as time goes on, momentum is going to get bigger and bigger for this.
And we've still got a lot of uncertainty around land settlements and stuff like that from EQC, but we'll start briefing those as they happen.
Absolutely. Let's move on now to Fletcher's. Now, they've already built nearly 200 homes for the Christchurch City Council's affordable housing program. Let's talk about that.
Yeah, so Fletcher's and the government have signed with the Christchurch City Council with the Housing Accord to build another 191 houses within the central city. Now, when the blueprint came out, there was a plan to have around 2,000 residential properties within the central city. There's kind of a figure that's quoted around about 20,000 residential people living within the central city, and this is really a start of it. If you know the Turners and Growers site, which is in the central city, it's been bare for quite a long time. That's where the development's going to happen. That's where these new houses are going to go, and some of them are affordable on a level of around $400,000 to $450,000. Whether that's affordable for the average person,
I was going to ask you that for affordable. Do you think these houses will be affordable?
Well, it's not for me, but we have to have there has to be a point there, and the government are doing a bit of work around some of the kickstart programs that are out there for first home buyers and things like that. So maybe this is a good opportunity for those programs to come in, and hopefully over time, the price stabilisation effect is actually starting to come into the market. So houses are actually starting to stabilise in price terms as more houses start to come onto the market.
Absolutely. Let's just talk about the Recross. Now, they've just announced $2 million worth of funding for the recovery programs. They released that last week. What is happening around recovery in that?
Yes, the Red Cross with their program, that's really good. And just on top of that, the Canterbury Community Trust have just put out another about $1.5 million specifically for youth, getting them back at sort of their recovery. Now, one of the big things when the Sarah Wellbeing Survey happened was the key areas that the youth were facing in terms of challenges was being displaced from where their communities were. So like families who have had to move out of the city and they've been displaced, not having any greeting or meeting places, and also activities for youth. So this is really a $1.5 million fund that the Canterbury Community Trust is looking to focus on that sort of stuff. And so it's targeting existing programs and suppliers for things that are going to get that'll help the youth. So if you're one of those people, go out, reach out to the Canterbury Community Trust and really start looking after or supporting our youth, because if we don't have our youth, we're not going to have a future in our city.
Absolutely, because they are the next generation. Exactly. Absolutely. Now, the convention centre. Let's talk about that. What's really going on there, as well as the Metro sports facility as well?
On Friday they always say that if a government organisation puts out a media release late on a Friday, they want it to sort of to walk away or people not to notice. But this is too important not to notice. They've basically put back the timeline for the convention centre another 18 months and the Metro Sports facility another 2 years. We must start now taking a stand on this and saying what is going on, why are these happening, what is going on in the government, why are the business cases not stacking up at cabinet level, why is there uncertainty around the tendering process for these for the construction of these things, and why are the costs spiralling out of control? These are the big things, and these are the reasons why these projects have been delayed, and hopefully the government will own up soon and actually talk about those openly. But we as a city must take charge of this. You know, these anchor projects are going to be an anchor holding our city back in the recovery. We can't have that. We need to have some transformational projects that are actually going to move the city forward into a 21st century. Otherwise, we will have areas of the city that are just bare, and we're going to have other parts of the city that are going to take off. We need some certainty around investors. We're losing capital quite at a dramatic rate, and I'm really scared that that'll keep continuing if we don't get some certainty. So,
yeah,
really
so
hopefully.
That's two of the anchor projects. You've got the convention centre and metros. I guess that it's even concern for any other projects, really, isn't it, as well, coming into the future?
Look, all the projects that are happening around the anchor projects, they all need to be revisited. There needs to be a bit more of a vision that's collectively communicated by the council and the government. Really, they need to start talking.
Absolutely. Let's talk now about the police building. Now, we've always heard for some time, is it happening, is it not, or when is it happening, or what's going on? We were just unsure, but now we have a date.
Yes.
A date has been confirmed. Do you want to just talk more about that?
Yeah, so, I mean, we kind of got the date wrong. Well, it wasn't wrong, but it was it changed from April the 18th, and now that's confirmed 100% for May 30th. If the weather's not good enough, it'll be the next day, which is a Sunday. 8 a.m. it's going to happen. People have been encouraged to watch it online. There's if you go to our website, there's a link to what the live broadcast will be. But yeah, it's finally certainty, and then once that's demolished and it's all gone, then the rebuild on that area can come out, and there's already plans that are in place by Ngāi Tahu to have a lot of workers back in that place.
Yeah, absolutely. And as you just said there too, there's a live stream as well, which they're encouraging more, isn't it? Which still gives the same result, really. If you're
exactly. So,
I
mean, it's 8 a.m. in the morning. If you just want to be laying in bed and watch an implosion of a police station, well, go log in and watch it.
There you can,
exactly.
Absolutely. Let's just talk about the EQC home repairs program as well. Just a quick update of what's happening there.
Yeah, so EQC are wanting people to say, yes, I'm in the program, which is the CHIRP program, or out of the CHIRP program. As you know, a lot of people have, or the EQR, which is Fletchers, have scaled right down their program, and people have to June the 1st to be able to say, yes, I want my house repaired by EQC or not. And otherwise, if you're not, you're going to be cash settled. If you are, you're in the program, you'll be managed by them. So if you are unsure about all that sort of stuff, make sure you get some free independent advice about this, because it is a very big decision to make if you're sort of in a bit of a limbo around that sort of stuff. So really there's a lot of people out there that are willing to help.
Absolutely. And just to confirm, the deadline is on the 1st of June.
Yes, 1st of June 2015.
Awesome. That's cool. Yep. Dion Swiggs from Rebuild Christchurch, thank you so much for coming in. Awesome. Well, still to come here on CTV News, Prince Harry comes to town. And welcome back to CTV News. Well, since the earthquakes, we've had his father, his brother, and his sister-in-law. And today, Prince Harry visited Christchurch on his first trip to New Zealand, with thousands turning out to greet him. It's Christchurch's turn to meet the Prince of Wales, and thousands have turned out to greet him in the heart of the city. It's day 4 of the Prince's Royal Tour of New Zealand. The Prince has already spent time in the nation's capital and the deep south of the South Island. Hundreds of people lined Cashel Street to catch a glimpse of the 30-year-old Prince, who arrived by tram outside the Restart Container Mall, where he was met by Christchurch Mayor Leanne Dalzell. Then he made his way into Quake City to see firsthand the devastation of the Canterbury earthquakes. The red-headed prince was given a private tour by museum staff of Quake City. The museum is filled with reminders of the September 2010 and February 2011 quakes. A crushed car and bricks from crumbled buildings on display for the prince. He was taken aback by the extent of the damage of the earthquake as he watched devastating footage for the first time. Scott Shadbolt, a senior firefighter who helped in the immediate aftermath following the 2011 earthquake, met the prince and shared his story. He was presented with a rare medal by the United Fire Brigades Association for his heroic actions and services that day in the presence of the Prince. As Harry moved around the Quake City Museum, he learned about liquefaction from a member of the Student Volunteer Army. His brother Prince William saw this firsthand when he visited Christchurch's eastern suburbs soon after the earthquakes. His father, Prince Charles, also visited Christchurch back in 2012. His wife, the Duchess of Cornwall, took a spin on a gap filler dance floor with Volunteer Army founder Sam Johnson. Today, Prince Harry experienced the fun of another gap filler project, playing this movie by using a bit of pedal power. It's easy to see why Prince Harry is so popular. He gave Canterburyans his full attention following his tour of Quake City, when he took the time to talk to a few dozen lucky royalists. Shaking hands, posing for photos and even receiving a few gifts for his new niece, Prince Charlotte. There were, of course, a few gingers in the crowd. Prince Harry is known for his hair. There were also a few well-wishers in the crowd who had travelled from all over the South Island to see the Prince in the flesh. One woman had even driven up from Queenstown. But there were no marriage proposals today, not even a cheeky kiss. One woman told me she would have kissed him, but the Prince's bodyguard was watching her too closely. Jared McCulloch, CTV News. And Harry's travels today also involved visits to Canterbury University to meet the Student Volunteer Army. And tomorrow he'll visit Odyssey House before heading to the North Island on Thursday. Elsewhere in the city, Prince Harry's pending arrival brought out the royalists, but they were left disappointed when his royal convoy failed to show. Marcus Gibbs explains.
While Harry was busy wooing the public in the central city, other fans were still waiting for him to arrive. The Prince was supposed to be travelling down Memorial Avenue on his way to New Regent Street at 11:10 this morning, but he had in fact arrived earlier, and it wasn't for another half an hour before word spread to his most devoted supporters on the corner that a meet and greet with the Prince wasn't to be.
Unbelievable. Oh, that's not fair.
Amongst the crowd, these three who are most likely the royal family's biggest fans in Christchurch.
Very committed to royalty, yes. They go to a great deal of trouble to be committed to us, and I think we have to replay that compliment.
Lining up for more than 40 minutes to no avail.
We still appreciate the fact that he's come, and we've come out to see him too, so I hope we may be able to meet up at some stage.
The Prince has spoken of how he's still looking for love. Perhaps he'll meet his future wife in New Zealand.
I'm hoping for a Kiwi bride for Harry, but my daughter's still too young, so...
Jennifer Sim and her friend Katie gave up their lunch break for the chance to say hello.
It's real exciting to just be on the side of the road. There's not even a barrier or anything, is there?
That's probably because the Prince was already in the city, despite this welcoming party still waiting half an hour later. Amongst them a very young royalist in the making.
Mrs. J. Hopefully one day he'll make it to Buckingham Palace.
Prince Harry has been bumped further down the line of succession with the recent birth of a new princess. Perhaps young James here will grow up to be her husband.
I don't think I'd enjoy that, no. Too much pressure.
At a time when the future of New Zealand's flag is up for debate, these four were prominently waving theirs. They don't want to see it go.
No, we've got this flag. Look, if they take away the flag, they're taking away the cross of St George, the cross of St Andrew, the cross of St Patrick. How can we ask God to defend us if we take away these saints?
The Prime Minister will have a tough battle on his hands if he tries to make a change.
This is a spectacular flag. I can't wave a black flag. It would be like death.
True royalists until the end. Marcus Gibbs, CTV News.
Well, Christchurch's most colourful businessman has pleaded for the city councillors to keep car parking at the back of their minds as the long-term plan is turned into a reality. But what solutions would work? Here's Marcus Gibbs.
Car parking. Nobody likes paying for it, but it's crucial for the survival of Christchurch's central city businesses.
Parking is critical for central city's economic viability, not just in the future, but right now.
Speaking at the first of the Christchurch City Council's draft long-term plan hearings, flamboyant businessman Anthony Goff spoke passionately about his city.
This is an exciting time for the central city. Despite the gloom that can often be reported by the media, commercial momentum is returning. Our members are essentially the pioneers. They have the faith in the city and are excited by its future.
But Goff says car parking is needed and the council needs to take lessons from his experimentation with property development.
We think there is an opportunity there for you to have outside providers. You're short of capital, whether you like it or not. Just like I personally am short of capital in the terrace project, and I've had to sell some of that off in order to be able to finish it. Council needs to be doing the same thing.
The sites of many earthquake-damaged buildings have been cleared and replaced with car parks recently, but these are temporary, and the Central City Business Association is desperate for more car parks to satisfy shoppers.
It is a major concern for us moving forward, not just our hotel, but all of the hospitality in this long-term parking.
Since the Ibis Hotel reopened 2.5 years ago, more than 170,000 people have stayed in the hotel. However, with only 22 car parks in the hotel's basement, the Ibis's customers are struggling to find parks.
It's in our top 3 of comments from all guests about the lack of parking in the city. And that's now, that's not in the future when we've got the Justice Precinct with, I understand, no car parking available, with the building across the road from us opening later this year, with again no parking for any visitors.
Goff says it's been too long and the council needs to act now.
But we've been 5 years and when there's not one public car park building being started in the central city. We can't wait any longer.
He wants to encourage more people into the central city to help the businesses thrive and says car parks are the answer. All the council has to do is provide an incentive.
A period where the first hour of council off-street parking is free would, in our view, be a great start.
The shortage has already reached a critical level, and as key developments are built and open for business, it's only going to get worse.
So we strongly recommend that the council urgently progresses the process underway with the private sector to explore permanent parking.
Within the next few years, thousands of office workers are expected to be in the central city, but the question is, where will they park? Goff's solution is for the Canterbury Earthquake Recovery Authority to use some of the east or south frame for parking until the land is needed for commercial and residential development.
I don't think it matters a hoot whether they're owned by the council or private sector. The important thing is to provide car parking. I think there's an opportunity for both public and private ownership of car parking.
This isn't the first time the contentious issue of car parking has come up for discussion. The council needs to replace 2 of its parking buildings and within the cost-sharing agreement has already agreed to pay $70 million to fund new off-street parking facilities. The council has already made a deal with the Carter Group to replace a 534-space parking building on the site of the Crossing car park, and in March, the City Council started seeking expressions of interests for firms interested in being involved in funding, building, owning and operating parking buildings in the central city. Marcus Gibbs, CTV News.
Well, still to come here on CTV News, your region's weather. Welcome back to CTV News. Well, does the city need more councillors? This week, Christchurch City councillors will discuss appointing another 6 to the mix. Marcus Gibbs reports.
Love them or loathe them, these 14 are your elected representatives. Christchurch City councillors, each with your best interests at heart. And yet you're underrepresented in the city. Based on the current population, for every 26,000 people, there is only 1 councillor. With the exception of the Auckland Supercity, this is much less than the rest of the cities in New Zealand, who have the luxury of 1 councillor for every 16,500 people on average. That means 6 councillors would need to be appointed to bring Christchurch up with the national average. In just 2 days' time, councillors will debate whether or not they need the extra councillors and whether they should join the ranks. But what do their voters and the ratepayers think?
I don't think we need any more councillors. I think we've got more than adequate.
Well, I think people have diverse opinions and different interests, and so if it can add to the picture, I think it's a good idea.
More heads with more ideas is good.
Well, if they're going to do our city some more good, it's a good idea. No, I don't think we need any more councillors. Auckland's got a whole lot and they're in a mess.
Yes, it's a difficult time in Christchurch and some areas are probably represented, but I don't think probably in the long term it would be a good thing, but I think at the moment things are not happening fast enough.
I think we've got probably the number we could do with.
Yeah, I think they'd really have to have a lot to bring to the table, a lot of experience and be innovative.
3 or 4, not another 20.
Christchurch City councillors currently earn more than $99,000 a year for their seat on the council table. This means that if 6 new councillors are appointed, it will cost ratepayers nearly $1.8 million more for each 3-year term, and that's excluding any future pay rises.
Gosh, that is a difference, isn't it? There's quite a lot of money that could be used for other things.
Far too high an income for what work they do.
Yeah, I don't think the cost is the major thing. You don't need a whole lot of people that are going to put a whole lot of different voices up.
This representation review is carried out every 6 years, and it could be coming at the right time. Christchurch has complex issues that need to be addressed, and perhaps more councillors are needed to spread the load. But the council is also cash-strapped and is facing a massive financial black hole. Perhaps shelling out for extra councillors isn't a priority right now.
Where's the money coming from? Is it going to come out of the rates? So they've really got some considerations to make and make some wise decisions on that one.
Christchurch City councillors will make their decision Thursday. Marcus Gibbs, CTV News.
All time now for your region's weather.
Down in Timaru, you had a high of 15 today. Temuka and Geraldine, you were also both on 15 degrees. Methven, Ashburton and Rakaia, a little warmer on 16. Darfield, Leeson and Rolleston all shared 16 degrees for your Tuesday. Lincoln and Christchurch had a high of 16 as well. Over in Akaroa, 16 degrees for you.
So what are you doing on Friday?
To the Waimakariri district now, Rangiora, Kaipoi and Amberley all on 16 degrees.
Do you get a break?
Taking a look further inland, Calderwood, Hamner Springs and Cheviot 16 for you. And Kaikoura took out the region's high today with 18 degrees. Now to tomorrow's temperatures. Timaru, fine and sunny with high cloud increasing later, northwesterly winds becoming strong and gusty. Tonight's low 3, tomorrow's high 19.
For whatever reason.
Ashburton, frosty to start with, but warm later on for your Wednesday, with high cloud increasing during the day. Tonight's low getting down to a chilly 1, tomorrow's high 18 degrees.
For whatever reason.
Now to the Garden City, also cold tonight, but mild tomorrow with gusty northwesterlies developing and high cloud increasing. Tonight's low 3, tomorrow's high 19. Kaikoura, similar weather for you, cold tonight but mild tomorrow with gusty northwesterlies developing and high cloud increasing. Tonight's low getting down to 3, tomorrow's high 19 degrees. In other areas around the region now, expect a cold but fine morning and afternoon cloud. Temuka and Geraldine, fine and cool with a high of 18. Methven and Rakaia, you can also expect 18 degrees. Darfield, Leeson and Rolleston, a high of 18 for you. Looking at Lincoln now, also on a high of 18 tomorrow. Over in Akaroa, you can expect 18 degrees for your Wednesday. Rangiora, Kaipoi and Amberley also on 18 degrees.
For whatever reason. I can't seem to find.
Up north in Calderwood, Hamner Springs and Cheviot, you can expect it to be slightly warmer tomorrow with a high of 19. Looking ahead for Canterbury now, fine and mild on Thursday with high cloud and moderate north to northwesterly winds decreasing. Cloudy on Friday with a period of rain and fresh cold southwesterly winds. Showers clearing but remaining cloudy and cold on Saturday with gusty southwesterlies becoming strong during the afternoon. Mostly cloudy on Sunday but with a few sunny periods developing later in the day, cold with light southwesterlies. Mostly fine and sunny with light northeasterly winds on Monday. And that's your weather update for Tuesday.
Thanks so much for that, Mercy, and that is CTV News for Tuesday. Thanks so much for joining us. I'm Jared McCulloch. Good evening.
supporting local content so you can see more of New Zealand on air.